Welcome back everyone to our YouTube channel. So today we are going to be talking about the different selection tools and drawing tools and Photoshop. So basically we are going to be making sure we at least know how to make a selection around a picture and also how to use some of the basic shapes and also the pen tool. Let's dive down into it. This is our Photoshop workspace. So we will continue from where we stopped yes in our last video. So if you have been following us, you will know that we have learned about the Photoshop workspace and how to use some tools. So today we are going to be talking about the selection tool. So to enable us use the selection tool and practice now, it definitely how I know how things work in the selection tool. We are going to import an image so that we can understand it better. So let's up the visibility of this as I said in the former video. So to off the visibility, you click on all of them one by one to off it. Or if you don't want to go through clicking everything one by one, just off the group since everything is in a group. But for the purpose of this class, we are going to off it one by one so that we can use the white background. Let's remove this from the group. Let's remove one of the white layers from the group. So to remove it from the group, what you do is you click, you let click and hold, then drag it outside of the group. Now it is outside of the group. So let me on the visibility of these layers. So if I off the group, if I off the group as a whole, I don't have anything. I'll still have my layer there. So now let's import an image into Photoshop workspace. So to bring an image into a Photoshop workspace, you first of all go to your file explorer where your image is. So you click on our file explorer. Now we try to locate our image. Let me say from pictures. Then let's use this image for example. Then you just click and hold on the picture, then drag it to the Photoshop workspace. Now once you drag it in, it will be on transformation mode. As I said earlier, the transformation mode is basically for you to make some transformation before placing it, like twist it to whatever you want. And this our why this is like this is because is the picture is if you notice the picture is not showing why this is like this is because if you check in the layers panel, it is actually below the white background layer. So now you drag it to make it above, just click and hold it and drag it up. Now as we clicked it, the our picture automatically placed on the workspace. It was automatically placed on the canvas. If you notice, this is our picture. It is placed on the canvas. It is saying in our history. It is saying place embedded smart object. So let's go back to where it the order. So now this is the order we did. That is layer order is just dragging the layer. So let's talk about different tools in different selection tools. The selection tools in Photoshop is actually used to make a selection around an object. So you can make different selections. So let's first of all talk about the first selection tool, which is based on the order of our toolbar. So the first selection tool, which is the Marquee tool, and the first one on the list is the rectangular Marquee tool, although the Eclipse Marquee tool was the one highlighted before. So let's click on this. Then this is how the rectangular Marquee tool works. Once if you want to use it, you just click on anywhere around the object. So the rectangular marquee tool just gives you this feature of rectangle or square depending on how you want to use it. If you notice now, you have like a rectangle now. And aside from that, if you check the top bar of your Photoshop workspace, you see the different kind of selection options here. This is the initial one is the normal selection option, which is just like creating a new selections. So the second one is what we call the add to selection. This one, what this one does is if you select on it, now let us see for an example. You select on it, then you create another selection. What it do is it will add to the previous one that was already there. So now let's try it on let's practicalize it as example. We create another selection. If it was just on that new selection, it will just delete the old one, create another one. Now, as since you are adding selection, this is what it does. Add selection to the other one. Let's go back to history. So now, see for the new selection to show you that this add selection only selection option that does that. But the new selection cannot do that. Notice what the new selection does. Once you click new selection, it makes another selection wherever you want to make it. So it's only the add selection that does this. It adds to the selection. So this every selection option has this every selection tool has these selection options. So you always have once it is a selection tool, you always have this selection option. So now what this other selection option subtract from selection does is once you click on it, you want to subtract from this particular selection, you click and drag, it subtracts from the initial selection. Just like what is actually the opposite of the add selection. So now we have the last one, which is the intercept selection. You notice see what intercept selection does. Once you drag on it, it intercepts and creates it deletes the other one, makes another selection from the like it makes a single selection from every other thing there. Let me do it again so that you see what I'm trying to say. Now, if you notice, let's create a new selection. I want to really make everybody understand this. So now to intercept this, to use the intercept selection, say we want to have a very small box around this. So just click on it and select. Even if you select the whole work area or the whole workspace, it will only make a little bit of selection. That is, it's cutting a little piece out of the original selection. So this is what happens. So it's as easy as that. That's what the eclipse um sorry, what that's what the marquee rectangular marquee tool works. So let's go back in history. So to use the eclipse marquee tool, it's just drawing a circle, an eclipse, or however you want to draw, or a sphere, spherical shape, however you want it. That's just what that does. So if you want a sharp, a complete circle, a complete circle, you click and hold on shift and drag it. This circle is of same equal sizes. Notice the dimension at the bottom right. It is equal 341 pixel by 341 pixel. So let's go back in time. So it's almost the same. It's the same thing that happens to the rectangular marquee tool. Once you hold and shift and drag down, you see it has. Oh, sorry, I didn't hold shift. Sorry. So once you hold and shift and drag down, so once you hold on shift and drag down, if you notice, it is having the same equal size, the same width and the same height. So that is how basically that is the easiest way to have a complete square and a complete circle selection. So aside from that, we have the single row and single column. This single row and single column is just selecting a straight line and a straight vertical line and a straight horizontal line. That's basically how it works. So apart from that, we have the Lasso tool. The Lasso tool, what how the Lasso tool works is you can make a your own kind of shape, your own kind of shape, your own kind of selection. Let me not say shape, your own kind of selection, random selection. Unlike the Marquee tools, the Marquee tools makes a a, a regular selection, a regular selection, which is the square, the rectangle, and the circle, the sphere, the oval. That those are regular selections. But if you want to make an irregular selection, you come to the lesson tool. The lesson tool, how it works is you, you just take your mouse pointer, you click on the object. Once you click on it, you just drag it down around the object with whatever object you want to select, just drag it around it depending on how whichever object. This is just for the reference purpose. So when you are doing yours, you be very careful on the object you want to make selection on. So I'm just using for example. So if you want take for example you want to select this head, now you just drag it down, click and hold on the left click and then drag it round the object you want to select. Then once you reach the tip, you leave it. You leave the left click. You just leave everything. It will make your selection. You're just making irregular selection. So you can also add selection. The same thing I did with the rectangular marquee tool. You can also add selection. Once I add it here, see the thing adds selection. If I subtract, the thing subtracts selection. If I intercept, exactly everything we did, and this is it. So it's just as we did with other selection tool. So let's go back in time. And then for the polygonal lasso tool, how this one works is when you click on the polygonal lasso tool, you have to click on, you pinpoint every step that is clicking on it one after the other to make the selection. So what you are doing is you're just dragging your mouse across, when you create a path, through every single place you want to select around the object, make a path around it. If you try dragging it around, if you notice, see what is happening. Unlike the normal laser tool, the normal laser tool, once you just drag it around, you click and hold, drag it around, it will go around. But for this particular one, it won't. Maybe take for example, like now you have made a mistake and made a selection you do not need. You clicked on a point you do not need. So what you do is you just click on delete on your keyboard. It will just delete that point off, and you continue making your selection till when you feel you have reached the point. Or even if you have not reached it, once you double click it will make the selection. But if you feel you have reached the point, just take it to that point, that tip. You feel you have reached the beginning point, take it to that tip, then click once. It will make the complete selection. So that is it for the polygonal lasso tool. Now we have the magnetic lasso tool. How the magnetic lasso tool works is once you click on the magnetic lasso tool, how it works is you just have to click once on the object you want to select. Then take your mouse, just keep moving your mouse. You don't have to click any other thing. You just have to move your mouse. Now it will use its artificial intelligence and try to select on the area it feels you want to select. He's just thinking, oh, this person wants to select here, he wants to select this person's face. It will just keep going like that. Also, once you want to reach the beginning point you started, just hover your mouse around it and then click to make the selection. That's how easy it is. So now we have another kind of selection tool. So this is actually the last selection tool we are going to be talking about. So this one, how this one works is this is this is where we get the magic wand, the quick selection, and the object selection tool. So what the Let's start with the magic wand. Let's start with the magic wand. How the magic wand works is once you click on any area, it will make a selection, like kind of a magical, that's like kind of like a magical tool. It makes a selection on any place you click on. So the artificial intelligence behind this is it picks like a color, maybe like this now, it picks this yellow paint color and it makes selection on every color of this, every shade of the yellow paint, and that feels the same with the beginning part you took. It will make selection around it, make selection around it. So this is what basically this is what some people basically use to cut out a picture, cut out someone from a background. So, but most of the time, this doesn't work. As you have seen what happens, sometimes it doesn't work as we expect. So you might click on it like this, and it might just go random. Now, this is why this is happening like this is because it is trying to find any color that matches with the shade of that particular color. So if it doesn't, you just pick the one it can, then leave some part like that. That's why it is like this. Um, Aside from that, we have okay, let's try the quick selection tool. So once we select here, this is the quick selection tool. So how this works is once you make any selection, it makes a very fast selection on the image. So let's just see how it works. This is it. Once you click on it, it will make a quick selection on the image. Unlike the magic wand tool, you can actually make a negative selection. At the top bar, you see the subtract some selection. Once you click on it, once you click on it, it will actually make a negative selection on the place, meaning it will delete the part, just like deleting the selection you don't want. So the add selection is on default. Once you click on, once it is on this other making new selection, once you click on the area you want to make a new selection, it will automatically change it to the add selection. So that is how it is. That is that for the quick selection tool. Let's talk about the object selection tool. How this object selection tool works is you try and create a selection just like the marquee tool, that rectangular marquee. You just drag it down the same way we did in the marquee tool. Then once you drag it down and you leave it, now this line, this pink line you're seeing on the screen is trying to tell us that the selection we made is at the center. So once you leave it, it will use its artificial intelligence to make a selection around the object. This is it. For some laptops, it might take a little bit of time. So you can adjust the selection to whatever you want, however you want to adjust it. And maybe use to remove some parts, you can hold on alternate and then make the selection again to some part you feel it will shouldn't be there to deselect it because you held on alternate and made the selection. Now that is just to subtract the selection. That's as easy, as simple as it sounds. So that's all for the selection tools. Apart from the selection tools, let me show everyone how to um, cut someone from a background using the selection tool. So to make that happen, this is what we do. I basically use the Lasso tool. I come to the Lasso tool, then use the polygonal Lasso tool. Then I would have to click on every single part one by one. Click a point, make a path around every single around the place I want to select. So I'm going to fast forward this part. So as I reach the beginning point, I just double clicked it as I said earlier. It will just select the person automatically. So now to cut the person from the background, as I said earlier in our previous videos, to work on this background, you have to work on this picture, you have to rasterize it. So to rasterize it, you just right click on the picture and then search for where rasterize is. This rasterize layer, from rasterize layer. We are doing this because we want to be able to edit the picture. That is by cutting and cutting outside of the picture. So now to cut it, look, our mouse pointer is turning to a scissors. A small scissors is behind it. This is it. A small scissors, meaning we can cut it off. So let us do this and see how it works. So we have actually cut this off now. So this is no longer. So take for example, maybe we want to delete. We want to change this guy in the person from this background. So now we can do control. We can cut the picture off. Let's say we do Control X on your keyboard, or Control and click X. For those using MacBook, it will be the Command and X. So now we want to take off this layer and we want to paste our object, our person back. So we want to maybe take for example, we wanted to keep him on a white background. Then we click on Control and press B. So now this guy is no longer on the background it was before. So this is basically how some people used to remove background of some people, so of someone, and take it to another background. So this is how basically people do. So that's for the selection process. So let's go back in history. Now let's talk about the shapes, the drawing tools. And one of the drawing tools is the shapes. So for the shapes, you click on the shape icon. Most of the time, you see this kind of shape. You see this rectangle shape. See the rectangle shape here. The icon is always like this most times. But yours might be on the any depending on the one you used recently. So we click on this rectangle shape to input a shape into the workspace. You just click and hold and create your shape. Now, if you want to, if you now you can work on the shape properties here. You can change the color on the properties panel. You can change the color, you can change the stroke, you can change the roundness, corner roundness of the. So you can just literally work on it on this shape properties. Adjust it to whatever you want. Adjust the appearance and the transform and the pathfinder, yeah, to whatever you want it to look like. So and the same thing we did about the rectangular marquee tool to create a sharp shape like an equal sided shape like a square. Click and hold on the shift, then click your mouse, click it, drag it till complete. So if you notice 360 by 360 height, that is it. Is complete equal height, the same height and same width. That is it. So for other shapes, you actually have to do the same thing for other shapes to work out that same way. So we have the rounded rectangle, which is, let me show you how it works. The edge, corners are rounded, and you can also actually increase the roundness of the corners here. Once you carry your mouse and keep on one of them, you notice how you can change it to whatever you want. You can change it to whatever you want. So now, if you notice if I change one, everything adjusts. This is because it is made to maintain aspect ratio. So the corners are linked together. So if I don't want to link these corners together, I'll click on here. So it will maintain aspect ratio. Then if I want to make one more round, make one more sharp, and make the other one, say let's make this one the same thing like this. So this is how people make this kind of shapes. This is how people make this kind of shapes. This is how it is. You can do so many stuff with your shape. You can twist your shapes to whatever you want. This is how you actually work on it. So let's talk about the circle. The circle is just, once you just click on the circle tool, in Photoshop it is known as the eclipse tool. So once you click on it, you can drag it. So if you want it to be equal shape, so if you want it to be equal shape, you just have to click on it, click on the shape, the shift, and then drag it to be equal shape. That is right. That is how you work with the rectangle and the ellipse tool. Normally, people see it as a circle, but on Photoshop, you see it as ellipse tool. So this is it. This is the ellipse tool. So after we have made this, we click on our move tool. So to always make it selected, you always have to click here, click on the shape tool. So there are so many shapes here. It's polygon shape. So for this polygon shape, let's go back in time on other shapes. So now let's talk about the polygon tool. The polygon tool is actually to create shapes that has many sides. So now if you check here, we have this particular shape has 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can actually create another shape that has more than 5 sides, say 6 sizes. And to do that, we just come at the top bar on the Photoshop interface. Just come at the top bar where you have the home, that particular line. You can edit it to 6, and you notice you change to 6 here. We can also edit to 7, reduce it down to 3, whatever you want to reduce it to. So once you just make that change, it will actually affect to the shape you want to do it. So that is it. And you also have the line tool. This line tool is actually to draw a line on the Photoshop workspace. It's as easy as that. And once you put the line, the properties are here as I said earlier. So you can also make our custom shape, which is here. You click on the custom shape. You can select any option. So let's take for example wild animals. You come here, click on one of the shapes. So once you click on the custom shape, you see the shape, a custom shapes at the top bar. You just come click on the bar and come down here. See the custom shapes. Anyone that you want to use, select it and use. So this is our custom. This shape was actually created by someone. I think this is a lion. It was actually created by somebody and in put in here as a custom shape. So that's it. Actually, you can also create your custom shape in Photoshop, but that will be made use. What the tool you use to create that is the pen tool. So talking about the pen tool, let's go direct into the pen tool. So that's basically what we have discussed for the custom shape. The pen tool, this is how your icon will look like. This is it. This is the pen tool. To use the pen tool, you click on it. Pen tool is actually used to create like a shape, to create like a random shape. As I said earlier, a custom tool, you use a pen tool to create a custom tool. So the pen tool actually works the same way the polygonal lasso tool works. So you just click on it, just click and clicking, be creating point around, creating point to just make your shape or to just create your shape. So now after you have created the point, now if you want to join the point, you just click on, just hover on the any of the point. You notice you see a circle here. If you hover on it, over on the last point, the initial point you created, you see a circle behind the pen tool. Then click on it, it will join them together. So you can actually use it to create a shape or a part. Now this is a part. This is a part because it has no shape. It is not, sorry, it is not a shape because it would have shown a color and an outline. It would have shown a fill and an outline. So as let me just explain this. A shape is an element that has a fill and an outline. That's basically what a shape is. So to create a shape with the pen tool, what you do is you just come here after you have clicked the pen tool. Then you come at the top bar, you see the path. You click and change it to shape. When you change it to shape, now when you are clicking, if you notice what happens at our layer panel, as we make the face point, it has already created a shape layer for us. So let's see, we click, we click, we click, we click, and we join it together. We have created a shape, we have created a random shape. Which you can also add that random shape into our custom shape. So this is how to create a shape with pen tool. That's how the pen tool works. So we also have the free pen tool. That's how that one works. Is once you select it, you just drag it along. Click and hold and drag along. Click and hold and draw. Once you click and hold and draw, you actually create a shape. That's what it's called. Because why they call it free pen tool is because you are free to draw around to create any shape you want instead of just clicking, clicking, clicking. Once you draw around, you can create any shape you want. So that is it. So it basically gives you the freedom to draw anything you want and turn it to a shape. So let's talk about the curvature tool. Curvature tool is actually to enable you to make curves. If you notice, it is as we are doing it now, you can easily use it to make curve, make a very nice curve. Look at this, what we are doing here now. When you click the first point, click the second point, the next point will be a curve, definitely be a curve, and that curve will enable other points to curve properly. So it's very easy and sweet to use. That's for the curvature tool. That's why it's actually called curvature tool. So you can create curves with it. So this anchor tool is to add an anchor. Let me use a shape to explain it. This is our random shape to explain it. Now, to add anchors point is to add an anchor. If you notice, each of this shape has one, two, three, four, five anchor points. Anchor points are those cool points at the edge. Those places each of those places I click to make a point. So now to add an anchor point, maybe you want to add an anchor point between this point and this point. You click on this middle, added an anchor point, add another anchor point, add another anchor point. That's basically how it works. So now after that, let's talk about, let me just go back in time. Let me just go forward. So now after that, let's talk about the subtract anchor point or to delete anchor point. So now to delete anchor point is, maybe take for example, you want to delete this anchor point. You just carry your mouse pointer, come up to the anchor point, click on it to delete it. Click on this, it deletes it to what? To something else. So that's basically how that works. And the curve point tool, see, this is how it works. You take it to any point, it can actually help you to arrange the curve of that point. So even if that point wasn't, every point has a curve, but the curve is not active until you use the curve point tool to arrange it to the way you want it. So that is that for curve points tool. So let's talk about, so that is okay. I think we have exhausted everything. So this is where we are going to end our class for today. So thank you so much for joining us. We are going to continue in the next video. Thank you for joining us. And please don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you'll be getting updates on our videos and our most recent videos. Thank you so much and have a lovely day.